Connect, collaborate, discover. Transforming research and education networks to the power of N. I'm Kate Winn, Head of Executive Communications for the Network Infrastructure Group at Nokia. And this is Reconnect, where we dive into today's finest research and education networks in the company of some of the great minds behind them. In August 2023, GÉANT announced that Nokia would deploy a state-of-the-art IP MPLS solution for the project. A 10-year frame agreement headed by leading cybersecurity provider Nomios Group. To tell us more about this landmark agreement, I'm joined by three people extremely close to the project. Bram Peeters is GÉANT's Chief Network Operations Officer, and he has managed this impressive European REN from development to operation. Marcel Puts of Nomios, and his responsibilities include overseeing the end-to-end relationship between GÉANT and Nomios. Meanwhile, Dennis de Boer is the Senior Account Manager for Defence and Public Sector at Nokia's Network Infrastructure Group, into whose responsibility area this project falls. Bram, I'd like to start with you, if I may. Could you begin by explaining a little more about GÉANT and the role it plays within the European and international NREN communities?
Okay, so I think GÉANT is an interesting beast. We are basically the network connecting the European national research and education networks, so we only cater for research and education. Science has quite a lot of interesting challenges, so as a network we are, I would say, pretty advanced. And what we do is connecting these European local networks or national networks between themselves and with the rest of the world. So yes, we do have a global interest there.
Okay, that sounds like it must be a very, very big beast to run indeed. What are the aspects that make the delivery of networking and connectivity services to this community uniquely challenging and uniquely rewarding?
We have traffic that is not like your standard internet traffic. We see scientists doing very large streams very suddenly without warning us. They will tell us what they're doing on the science and give us indication of what kind of capacity they need, but they will at some point send you 100 gigs and then 1 minute later they'll be at a half a terabit or a terabit, and that's what we need to deal with at the technical level. What I like about the work we do is that it actually, I do still think that we contribute to global improvement by supporting science and education. So I think it's a good network to work for. Fantastic.
Now, can you give us a status update, Bram, staying with you, on the network deployment? And specifically, since last summer, have you noticed any changes in the performance of the network?
So last year we had just signed the contract with Nomios and Nokia. Since then we've been working quite hard. I think we are now at a stage where equipment has been tested. We know what we're technically looking at. And the Nomios guys have done the first installs in the core network. So I think we have about 6 sites built, and they will be the first sites that are going to run traffic, and that will be the core site. So that will be immediately quite a good test for what we have been getting up to.
Okay, super, thank you. Marcel, I'd like to turn to you, if I may. How do you think the project has been going over the last 12 months? What has Nomios been doing to prepare with the GÉANT team for the network transition?
First of all, we have taken over the network support of the current vendor, which is Juniper. After that, we started immediately with the GÉANT team, the technical team, to work on the migration and the rollout of the Nokia equipment. And the first 6 sites, which are London 1, London 2, Amsterdam, Geneva, Paris and Frankfurt, are at the moment deployed and installed. The remaining sites of all the POPs in Europe, we probably are going to install and migrate that during the course of this year, and it is ready by the end of this year or early next year.
So Marcel, staying with you, from the point of view of Nomios, what has been the impact of taking on this project over the last 12 months, particularly what you've been able to deliver to the NREN community and maybe your involvement with new NRENs or projects as a result of the collaboration with GÉANT?
So our ambition is that we have also involvement in projects with NRENs in the countries. For instance, in the Netherlands with SURF, but also in other countries, we are trying to get better acquainted with those NRENs, and that we can also have some more projects in the future in this community.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Dennis, I'd like to turn to you, and maybe Marcel, you also would like to comment on this as well. And when will the deployment be finished?
So from our part, at the moment we have delivered the solutions. Our part in general is kind of done. Still, of course, we continue with maintenance of the project and upgrading the project, etc. But then, of course, it's the whole project delivery which is in the hands mainly from Nomios side. So, as the project manager of Nomios is already pushing hard end of this year, hopefully Q1 next year. I would say by the same period we are now, next year the whole network is swapped out, and now Nokia and even additional countries hopefully are already connected.
Yeah, I would like to comment on that because the first phase of the project was, I think, on top of my head, 30 countries. But we already had requests from GÉANT to add Stockholm in Sweden, but also Moldova and Kiev in Ukraine, and perhaps also in Georgia. So the Eastern European countries will also follow in the course of next year. So in that sense, the project is not at an end when we have implemented all the first 30 countries.
I think there will always be small changes, but I have been telling my team that hopefully by TNC next year we should be in a somewhat quieter period and we can focus on value add on top of the beautiful new network that we should have by then. I hear the optimism in some people. I think from my experience, optimism is...
Good.
Yeah, I call it engineering optimism. If everything goes right, Q1, but I would expect that we sit here at TNC and that some of you guys bring a bottle of champagne so that we can celebrate.
Okay, fantastic. Dennis, I'd like to stay with you for a moment. Nokia's experience in providing critical network infrastructure has certainly come in handy for work with research and education networks. Can you tell us a little bit about how prepared Nokia is for the demands of this kind of organisation?
Yeah, well, if actually referring back to the presentation we just viewed from Bram here at TNC 24, the network in throughput is growing very fast. You even predicted 2033, which is now 2024. On the, 10 terabyte. So it's growing much faster than everybody was expecting 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago. And the interesting part is that from our portfolio of NI, from Nokia Network Implementation, we have solutions like IP routing, which is actually deployed towards GÉANT now, which are capable to do this, for example, 800 gig the connectivity per port. So they could deploy a network now with the hardware capable for the coming 7 years, 10 years to run the connectivity which is needed.
Now, staying with the technology, I understand the Nokia 7750 service router was selected for this IP core network modernisation. What were the technical capabilities or features that you felt were the best match with GÉANT's needs? Bram, do you have any comments on that?
So I think as Dennis alluded to, basically capacity is a major driver in what we need to do in the network. We do need to deliver capacity to our users, so being able to do that at 400 gig is the simple way, and then moving to 800 gig quite soon and potentially terabits. I think that's where the platform really does have its scaling in the right place. I think we also looked at, for example, the energy usage. I think that's where it's also quite a reasonably well-performing platform on number of watts per bit that go through. So,
all right, then in that case, I think that's unfortunately all we have time for. I want to say a big thank you to our guests, Bram Peeters, Marcel Puts and Dennis de Boer. I'm Kate Winn, and thank you for listening. It's always amazing to see how customers are using networks to unlock new research and discoveries. If you'd like to learn more about the RENs we've discussed and the technologies behind them, visit our website.